Okay, we got a video by... Damn, this is half an hour long. By Be Amazed. Oh, I like Be Amazed. He's cool. Funniest military fails of all time. Damn, since when has Be Amazed been making 30-minute videos? Oh, it's from 9 months ago. I thought his videos were like 10 minutes. Well, we'll try our best to not pause then. Damn. Alright.
Scared? You should be. Military fails have huge consequences, which is exactly why they're so hilarious. Oof. So from being terrified of a rogue goose to accidentally invading the wrong country, buckle up, because we're about to unpack some of the funniest military fails of all time. How the hell do you accidentally invade the wrong country?
No, to be fair, America accidentally invaded Mexico once too. Because it was oh, what the hell is his name? It was the same guy that almost got into a war with freaking Canada. Well, not Canada, with Britain over a Canadian like island. What he had that's a whole other freaking like. We'll watch a video on that later. I'm oversimplified the video on that, but. Technically, yeah, America accidentally invaded Mexico one time. He was never given direct orders, but he freaking invaded Mexico for like no freaking reason.
What do soldiers do when they're not fighting for their country? Turns out, this.
Bro, he is really feeling himself,
for this guy, he didn't notice his...
Yo, tell me why he does that a little too well, though. Right, like, he's got the pose down. Like, he's practiced this. I feel like I wouldn't know... Maybe I could do it naturally. Like, maybe. I don't know.
The sergeant standing right by him.
Like, you see what I'm saying, though? No. Look at the way he gets surprised.
Notice his sergeant standing.
Look at when he gets caught. He stays in character. Look, okay, look. Look at his reaction. Ooh, hand in mouth. Ooh, giggling. His left hand is like clutching his purse. Like, come on! And look, watch. He's still going. Watch him transform out of character. He's going back to Chad. Look. Ready? Hands on the shoulder, chest pumped out, ready to walk down the aisle. That's right. Oh, okay. Captain, why didn't you tell me? Like,
it is.
You see what I'm saying?
Frame that beautiful moment of realization. Someone's getting 50 push-ups.
I'm just saying. I feel like I think he was in drama class in high school. Like I feel like he missed out on his true calling. He shouldn't be in the military. He should be in Hollywood.
One of the toughest jobs going. But while doing a routine clean on her vehicle, this soldier was forced to really understand the meaning of high-pressure roll.
Woo!
This wasn't some lapse in judgment. If we go back to just here, yep, that's her.
Oh, damn! I was about to say, I'm like, why the hell would you have it at such a high pressure if you're like a tiny person, like...
Friend cranking the pressure up.
But it literally is, yeah. No, literally they just freaking fire it off like a freaking fireman hose.
Why wouldn't they do it?
What? We gotta get the grime off. What the freak is this? What is this? Why do you have this? Is this actual military?
Poopers. When it comes to military might, Ghana is generally not known for it. So when the Ghanaian army marched out...
Stop. No. Stop. You didn't.
Out in snazzy futuristic exosuits at an exhibition back in 2019, everyone was shocked. Only they weren't snazzy, nor futuristic, nor exosuits. They're a total sham. As well as the mobility being hilariously sluggish, they look like they've been bolted together with scrap metal. And the vehicles being shown off weren't any better. Which is no surprise when they've been made from 1/8 of an inch thin tin plating. Seriously.
I was gonna say, is this just like paper mache? But no, at least they made it out of metal.
This footage I found showing how rudimentary the construction was.
Why? This is literally like some official, like, saw a movie and was like, hell yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Like, he went to go see Black Panther, was like, let's go. Power suits. He's like, yeah,
Wow.
we gotta be like
Yeah,
Wakanda,
these
bro.
things aren't gonna
need
protect the people
power
inside
suits.
from a pocket knife, let alone a bullet. Ghana's annual military budget is around the $0.3 billion mark, which may sound like quite a lot, but compare that with the U.S.'s
You can't compare. Stop. No.
astronomical.
You can't compare that. That's not fair. The U.S. it spends like 10, if no more, probably more, like times. Not like second place on military budget is still like not even 10 times like what the U.S. like. Please, that's just not an unfair. You would have to you have to compare everyone else to second place there, because the U.S. doesn't count. That's like way like no, you can't.
$842 billion, and
That's
suddenly
mountains
the
to
Monke
molehills.
super armor
That's
makes
not fair.
much more sense. Still, they didn't have to make such a song and dance of how embarrassingly bad it is. They should have known I'd be watching. To make sure you're always watching too, hit those like and subscribe buttons and land yourself a massive win. I upload new amazing content almost every day. Now, back to the fails. The indestructible vase. Special Forces.
Hey, dude, the moment anyone says indestructible, I know it's gonna break. Please, let's go.
They're supposed to be the world's elite. From the SAS to the Navy SEALs, the world expects the best from, well, the best. But sometimes, even the best fall flat. And falling flat is exactly what the Iranian Special Forces did when trying to show off their incredible vase-breaking skills during a military parade back in 2021. The parade was supposed to show their fierce fighting style. Despite their best efforts to break the vase, though, well, they just kept failing.
Oh, no way.
And failing. And hey, look at this guy's spinning punch. Oh, wait.
That's not the fault of these dudes. That's not the soldier's fault. That's his fault. That's his fault. That's not a single soldier. Look. No. That one was okay. That one was his fault. That one was for sure his fault. Like, what the hell are you kicking at right there?
Supposed to show their fierce fighting style. Despite their best efforts to break the vase, though.
This is just stupid. Why would you do this? Like, unless it's pre-cut, the most you can expect to happen here is it's gonna, like, get ripped out of your hands and fall on the ground. Like, that's not gonna break.
They just kept failing.
But then, like, I feel like he kicked his hand. He didn't even hit his freaking, like, the base.
And
but look,
failing.
but here, Bop, he let go.
And hey,
why the hell would you let go?
Well, they just kept failing. And failing.
Hold it! If you don't hold it, of course it's just gonna kick it and freaking flop it to the right. I mean, what the...
Hey, look at this guy's spinning punch.
See?
Oh, wait.
Hold the damn thing!
And to make this
He held it that time. I'll give it to him. That time he held it. That time he held it. There was a full impact. You could feel the weight of it actually hitting the vase.
Humiliating, the show was
Then he
held
let
in
go
front of
again.
none other
Wow.
than the former commander-in-chief of the Islamic Republic of Iran Army, Ayatollah Salahi. Yeesh. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of this guy's wrath. But then again, maybe he was able to see the funny side. Right?
At what point do you just be like, look, bro, I'm gonna put some brass knuckles in my glove. And as soon as I go for the punch, I'm gonna need you to like put some counter like force against my fist, because we need to like don't break my hand if you have to. All right, I'm not about to freaking embarrass myself in front of this guy.
Paratrooper blooper. It's a miracle that nobody.
I feel like at a certain point you owe it to your country to just be like, should we just pre-crack it a little bit? You know, just to like. I'm not saying we need to do it. Like we don't need to pre-crack it. You know, we don't need to weaken it. But like, like, you know, you just like just for the show of it, like might as well, right? Like like we all understand that, yeah, sure, they're probably tough enough to in an emergency you can do the okay, but like just for the show of it, shouldn't we just, you know, just help it out a little bit, just to avoid the embarrassment, you know? Let's.
Was seriously hurt back in
I don't think
2022
anyone will
when
blame you.
Nigerian paratroopers did a training exercise over their capital city, Abuja.
That's sick. Oh, that's less. Okay.
Oof. Sending men soaring from unimaginable heights into a densely populated urban area. Who could have guessed that wouldn't be a good idea?
Bro
The men
pulled a
landed on
Deadpool.
cars and trees and some even on the harsh concrete. I can't help thinking
Ow.
those battered holy parachutes didn't do much to aid the situation.
Yeah,
But
why
there
do the parachutes have so many holes in them?
is one thing they got right. Can you guess what it is?
Why is it like so? I'm assuming it's meant to be like vents so that the air travels like out that way, and so it pushes you forward technically. But it's like I doubt the science. I don't doubt the science. I doubt that that whatever propulsion you get out of it is gonna like benefit. The benefit doesn't like outweigh the negatives. You get what I'm saying?
It was actually the parachutes. Believe it or not, they had holes in them for a reason. See, older chutes were designed with holes to increase their fall speed and ability to glide. Without the hole, the
Figured.
parachutes were prone to more erratic, uncontrollable movement. With it,
Yeah.
excess wind
I
is
figured.
expelled easier and doesn't cause the chute to twist and flip. So despite looking shoddy, they're actually not. Of course, that didn't seem to help these guys very much. Oh dear.
The Nigerians aren't the only ones
I don't
with
care what you say. That seems like too damn much.
parachuting woes, though. In a clip from
I'm
the
looking at these dudes, and I'm just saying, I wouldn't. That hurt. That looked like it hurt.
Flintlock 2019 military exercise over Sahel, Africa, this unit didn't exactly cover themselves.
Like I'm just saying, like it's cool that it got me to the ground safe and sound. But if my knees are destroyed, I'm not gonna be an effective soldier.
In glory.
Understandable. You know what?
That little scream as he finally falls. Oh boy.
I don't care. I don't care. I respect that more than I respect this.
Double
I can't with
glory.
this one. I don't care. You will see me. You will see me doing this every single day of the week before you see me eating a face full of metal.
That little scream
I'm
as
taking
he
the easy
finally
way out.
falls.
Nah, son. Screw that.
Oh boy. And things don't get much better.
He was a little. He did too much. He was a little too scared. He seemed
Unsurprisingly,
that
nobody's
cool.
owned
Alright,
up to
the
who they...
freaking chuggers at the end. Like bro hesitated too much. Either lay down and look like an idiot, or jump out at once. Like you can't do both. Now you just look stupid and you.
Unsurprisingly,
At least this
nobody's
dude
owned
went
up to
face.
who
Like
this
that dude went
actually
face first,
is,
but he did it correctly.
They know. They know. Rambo, no.
Rambo.
Military
no.
should be tough, unrelenting, and intimidating, right?
Probably.
So is that what you think when you watch this?
역사의 도전들을 짚으시며 일군 청창입니까?
Ooh, not a bunch of men dramatically equipping pointless balaclavas and beating up trees. Believe it or not, this whole
What I don't understand is why a balaclava's purpose is to keep your face, cheeks, ears, and surrounding head area warm from the environment. What's the point of that if you're gonna be shirtless?
hilarious video was created by
It
the
just
North
makes you
Korean
look like an
government
idiot.
and released in 2023 as a
By
show
who?
of pointless balaclavas and beating up trees. Believe it or not, this hilarious video was created by the North Korean government and released
The
in
North Korean government. Got it. Okay.
2023 as a show of military might. Because nothing says don't mess with me like breaking out of a clearly fake chain and headbutting a block of ice. Thank God he had that thin, soft balaclava on. And in another
Bro, shave your armpits, damn.
highly stylized piece of propaganda, a soldier, wait for it, leaps over a car. Wild. In fact,
Like,
the whole
armpits
thing
hair's
plays
okay,
off
but not when you got a
balaclava
whole Sasquatch like that. Like, what the hell?
And in another highly stylized piece of propaganda, a soldier, wait for it, leaps over a car. Wild. In fact, the whole thing plays out like some kind of cheesy Rambo montage. Are you quaking in your tidy whities yet? Be right back, I gotta go change mine.
The Great Emu War.
Oh my goodness, I know about this one actually.
War.
I think was it Australia when Australians like had a really bad freaking like really bad problem with emus like trampling their gardens and farmers' fields. But the problem with emus is that even if you hit them with like with heavy machine gun fire rounds, emus are like living tanks, bro. They can just take hit after hit. They're ginormous, bro, and they are
War
fast.
never changes. Or does it? I mean, usually wars are fought against humans.
By the way,
right?
they lost
Not
the war. The
birds.
Australians lost.
Boy, I've got some news for you.
The
Because
emus
back
actually
in
won.
1932, the Australian government
Yep.
called on the military to go to war against a 20,000 strong army of emus. Yeah, you heard that right.
And they did it with full on light machine guns, heavy artillery, combat vehicles. At one point, one of those military vehicles is flipped and gets put out of commission. Like the emus actually have casualty. Like they actually have like a
Although emus were a
They're actually on the
protected
board.
species in Australia in the 1920s, the giant bird's unruly behavior, like destroying farmers' crops, led them to be reclassified by the 30s. Not only were they wrecking important sources of food, they were also leaving gaps in fences where rabbits could enter and cause further problems. Farmers were seething. So in response to the mounting threat, the Aussie government did the only logical thing. They armed the Royal Australian Artillery with World War I era machine guns and ordered them to cull the flightless birds. Yikes. Only the emus turned out to be much greater foes than expected. They were such a formidable enemy that one newspaper compared their resilience to the invulnerability of tanks and their fighting spirit to that of Zulu warriors. What? Yep. While they're not able to fly, emus can run up to 31 miles an hour, and they're
dude. The Australian government legitimately started to like debate whether or not to use them in military like conflicts. It's like mobile vehicles. It's awesome. Imagine riding on a battle emu.
feathers and strong skin give them near immunity to gunfire. No,
Yep.
really. It can
I'm
take
t-
up to
yes.
10 bullets to finish the job. Jeez. On
And
top
this
of
is with like high caliber rounds, bro.
this, they employed guerrilla tactics to evade the soldiers hunting them. The birds worked in packs with a leader guiding their continued crop destruction whilst also warning the pack of any approaching soldiers.
Yeah, no, they would actually, apparently the emus would actually like, basically imagine like when the kids are like teachers are out doing something, and so you put that one kid in charge of like the hallway, like at the hallway, like when the teacher starts to come back, it's your job to like shout to the rest of the class like she's coming, she's coming, she's coming. Like they were smart. They actually had tactics. They wouldn't like if the emus would attack a certain area, they wouldn't attack that same area again for a long time because they knew that the soldiers would be probably prowling and hunting around that area. The emus were actually outsmarting these dudes. I don't know how
This
the hell.
organization, coupled with their speed and resilience, led to the vast majority of the birds surviving the attacks made on them, forcing the army to embarrassingly withdraw. Following this, the emus only
To be fair, though, and one thing that a lot of people don't bring up, the guy in charge of the entire operation was kind of a meathead. He was a little bit of, specifically that one dude, was a little bit of a prideful dude.
continued to ravage crops, though, and the soldiers were called to return just a few days later. This time, they managed to have more success, with the emus suffering just under 1,000 fatalities and 2.5
Again, the original calculation was 20,000 emus. They got less than 1,000. They packed up, went home, and said mission accomplished. We've eliminated the emo threat.
500 injuries. Despite this, though, the population continued to thrive, and it wasn't long before the entire
Despite
military
this, I don't even know if it was despite. Like, I don't think there was anything to spite. You feel me? Like, this was like, what did they actually do? It was a population of 20,000 emus. They took out less than 1,000 and just called it off. Like, shit, we did it.
operation had to be called off. In other words, the Royal Australian Artillery had been bested by a
They
bunch
freaking
of
lost!
Damn, that's humiliating for them, but pretty amusing for me.
Oh, dude, that is hilarious. If I ever go to Australia, which I doubt I ever will because spiders are scary, I'ma for sure eat a kangaroo burger and an emu burger. I'm calling that right now. I promise.
Tank trouble. A defining feature of any good military is its tanks. Hulking and formidable, they can change the tide of battle in an instant. That being said, not all tanks are made equal. Take American tanks. Despite being widely considered top of the range, this one got
German tanks are better.
stuck in a ditch and wrecked its
Let's
tracks
just call
back
it
in
what it is.
2016. And if you think that's bad, you've seen nothing yet. Now more than ever, attention is being drawn to good old Russian engineering. Yep, Russian tanks are really struggling right now. During a full-scale attack in the Sumy Oblast region of Ukraine in February 2022, a bunch of them got seriously stuck in the mud. The attack was a complete failure, and the uploader of the footage claimed the tank's operators fled. Want to know what makes it worse, though? The same thing happened just a week earlier to tanks training in Russia's Rostov Oblast region. A digger can do
Dude, this is actually one of the most interesting things about this entire war, too. And I do not mean to make light of this in any way. This whole situation is tragic. But we are here to have a discussion. We can, about this. First of all, it was kind of a smart move. What the Russians did is that they actually sent out a lot of their really, really old equipment first. They actually reserved all of their latest and greatest equipment in the hopes that they could use it later on in the war. They basically sent out all their old junk surplus, all like the old World War II tank. Like they sent out all the old stuff that they just like have had for long times. They just need to get rid of it. Like at this point, like it's probably how often do you go into a freaking war? They're trying to use it all up. So that's probably one of the major reasons why a lot of this stuff was like struggling, especially on all these terrains. However, at the same time, while you can say that might be smart, because they had to flee and leave all of this equipment, the Ukrainians basically just like dug it all back out and just kept it. Like it basically just free equipment. Like they really dropped the ball hard on that one. The Russians like messed that up big
seemed
time.
desperately trying to help them out of their predicament. But whether or not the tanks themselves were saved, there was no saving face.
No,
And
the tanks were saved, but it wasn't saved by the Russians. They bailed. They ran away because you're literally a sitting duck in enemy territory. The freaking Ukrainians just took it. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna wait for the Ukrainians to just walk up and drop a little freaking pineapple on you? Hey, there you go. That's it. End of story? Nah.
to add insult to injury, that same year, tanks and other
Failed.
vehicles captured by Ukrainian forces were displayed in the streets of Kyiv in a kind of mock parade. That's a lot of busted tanks.
There you go. What'd I tell you? They just kept the damn thing.
While this is undoubtedly high-level trolling from Ukraine, it's a dire shame it's in the face of such difficult circumstances.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. But a genius move on their part using those
Nobody wants war, least of all the people on both sides that have to actually fight it. So I've got something a little...
Isn't that just the worst part of it all, too? Nobody, especially seeing all this stuff on the ground, now that we have the internet, now that we have TikTok, ironically, right, now that we have TikTok, now that we have Soviet equipment, there you go, exactly. Now that we have TikTok, now that we have, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, all this stuff, you actually can see just how, literally just how, how human war can be at times in the face of such an inhuman situation. Sorry, I thought someone was knocking at my door. And there's even moments where I think there was this like if you could find this clip, it'd be awesome. But there was like this Russian soldier that accidentally ended up inside of like a pit with the Ukrainians, and they just sort of all looked at each other, and it was just this sort of moment where the Russian soldier was just like, kind of jumped into the wrong hole there, didn't I? And the Ukrainians was like, "You sure did." And there's just a lot of them, and it just this very human moment of just like, so can I stay here until the bombs stop falling and we all survive this? It's like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, he doesn't hate them. This random Russian guy doesn't hate these Ukrainians, and these random Ukrainians don't hate this one Russian guy. Like, that, like, it's just like, hey. Like, at a certain point, I'm sure the Russian guy might have even been like, can you just capture me so I don't have to, like, be like, you know, I'll be completely honest. If I was that Russian soldier, it'd just be like, listen, I drop all my stuff. Please just capture me. Freaking, like, I don't, like, keep me prisoner. Just, I've had enough. But what's sad, of course, is that you can't really do that, can you? You have your family at home, too. They're back in Russia. You can't do that. It's so freaking, like, horrifying. It's so messed up to think about. Nah, honestly, like the amount of stories like that, the Christmas, what is it, the Christmas ceasefire. Damn it, I forgot the actual name of the event, but it's the Christmas ceasefire. During World War II, I believe it was, or was it World War I, where they both sides sort of like put their weapons down, had a soccer match in the middle of no man's land. They were like trading like stuff. They were trading honey. They were trading like other goods as well. Like they were actually trading like honey. Like the Germans were giving British people honey because they had plenty of honey, and they needed for their tea and whatnot. There you go, the Christmas armistice. Yeah, it's very interesting. Like they were actually trading like bread, honey, tea. Like they were actually like freaking like chumming, or like they were like chowing down with each other. They were actually having a whole cook-off. It really just goes to show you how it's just kind of like, yeah, no, there is very much. It's like this is very much a war between powers, not a war between people. Sorry, had to
a little more lighthearted for you next.
Back to the funnies. I'm sorry.
The goose is loose. An army of emus is bad enough, but losing to a single
those kinds
goose?
of stories always
Come
stick with me. They
on.
really do.
People
really
eat
do.
geese. The soldiers at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, though, didn't seem to get the memo.
Wait, what?
But losing to a single goose? Come on. People eat geese. The soldiers at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, though?
Damn! I'm over here talking smack about Australia. Meanwhile, the American forces lost to one goose.
Didn't seem to get the memo.
Oh, nah, fair is fair though. That goose is a menace. I love the soldier like trying to mad dog him, like, what? Do something, and then he runs away because he knows that goose is gonna win. Say what you will, that goose is gonna win.
Oh my god.
He's so mad.
Oh, he's
I kept
pissed.
trying to tell him, don't stop, just keep walking.
Yeah, see, because the goose he's asserting his authority.
They really covered themselves in glory. The goose, fondly named Steve, is actually known to the soldiers at the base, as is his partner Brenda, and the pair can get very territorial. According to the video's uploader, this is far from a one-off. Steve terrorizes the soldiers on the daily, and they get freaked out every single time. Ah yes, trained members of the most advanced military in the world, unprepared.
Bro, hey, quit playing though. Like, have y'all ever seen those people that like try to like fight swans? Hell nah, bruh. Nah, a swan will absolutely break your arm. You think they won't, but like a swan, like if they actually swing their freaking wings at you, you wouldn't even think it. But if they swing their wings at, or even freaking their neck, that giant freaking goose neck, that swan neck, they will actually break bone. Or at least
to deal with a
bone.
disgruntled goose they see every day. It makes losing to emus look a little less embarrassing for the Australians. On the bright side, some of the soldiers saw the funny side.
Yeah, but we were unarmed, unfair. You took away Americans like that's our kryptonite. You can't take away an American's like force multiplier. An American without his Second Amendment is like Superman with kryptonite. You can't just say don't
Colonel
mix.
Heartthrob.
That just
What
doesn't
would
count.
you do for
It's
love?
not fair.
If your name was David Franklin,
Well, you're gonna take a fish out of water and then make it fight a monkey? Like, how's he gonna win? I win. Monkey
later,
wins.
betray my whole country would be your answer. The retired Army colonel was
Huh?
working as a civilian for United States Strategic Command when he met who he thought was a Ukrainian woman through a foreign dating site. The two only ever spoke online, but 63-year-old David was smitten. So smitten that when she started asking classified questions, David was all too happy to
No.
answer. Seriously.
Bro. Bro, you got caught gooning? You lost government secret. You gooned government secrets out like that.
The chat log is something else. She literally calls him her secret informant. Of course, the supposed Ukrainian hottie only wanted top secret US government information to reassure her that help was coming. But her questions wouldn't stop. From the dates US officials were set to go to Kyiv to specifics about classified weapon supplies, David told her everything. Except, it almost certainly wasn't a her or a Ukrainian. If I'm looking to chirps a cute girl, my go-to isn't spilling national secrets. But clearly Big Dave here thought this was a great tactic and ignored
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, she's hot for those launch codes, baby. That's right. Oh, you like them secrets? You like that intel? Ooh, that's right, girl.
the huge red flag screaming, "I'm a middle-aged Russian spy pretending to be a hot Ukrainian woman." When it all inevitably came to light, David was arrested in March 2024 on charges of illegally disclosing national defense information and conspiracy.
Yeah.
If found guilty, he could face up to 10 years in prison and a fine of over
Bro, how the hell you gonna give out government secrets, like, cause you gooning over some random, like, damn, bro.
$250,000. Cripes, David. Just another lesson in thinking with your brain and not your... I'm not the best cook, but if you're unfortunate enough to be enlisted in the Russian military, you'll be subjected to food even worse than my attempts, as one unimpressed soldier amusingly showed.
Выше. Положи ее и постучи, Дима.
I think that's supposed
a
to
little...
be mashed potato, but it looks more like paper mache and super glue.
Постучи по ней.
Nah, stop! He really stuck a fork in it. He's confident. He's confident too. Damn.
Insults to the chef.
The hell is that? Actually, though,
Isolation and miscommunication.
like, if that's not, like, bread dough before you make it bread, I don't know what the hell it is. Oh, it's only 10. That's early. What do you mean? You still got plenty
Thanks
of
to
time.
modern technology, militaries can easily communicate in real time today. But 100 years ago,
Good night, Master Sam.
people had to wait for a message to be delivered by hand, which sometimes led to some truly bizarre occurrences, like when the U.S. invaded Guam and Guam smiled about it. Yeah, you heard me right. In June of 1898, the U.S. and Spain were at war. As part of their offensive, the U.S. sought to invade the Spanish-controlled island of Guam, so they sent their warship, the USS Charleston, to do so. When the Charleston neared the island, it fired 13 shots, but the Guamanians didn't respond, at least not at first. Then a Spanish vessel approached from the island and a couple of soldiers on it signaled that they wanted to board the Charleston, and board they did. But to the Americans' astonishment, they greeted them with smiles. Then they politely asked to borrow some gunpowder so Guam's forces could return the salute. Return the salute? Wait, suddenly the penny dropped. Guam
I remember reading about this. I'm lying. I watched a YouTube video on it. I remember watching a YouTube video on this. Yeah, they really thought it was like a like when it's like when you do the salute of honor, when like at a veteran's funeral, and they go like fire, like the I forgot about
the 13
this.
shots were just a salute because they hadn't even known they were at war. It turns out the Spanish government hadn't informed the remote island. Because of this, they were utterly unprepared to fight the Americans with barely 100 men fit for battle and no strong fortifications. Seeing no other choice, Guam swiftly surrendered in what went down as one of the most peaceful invasions in history. And all because of lack of smartphones.
Drills.
No, really, it really was just like, hey, we're invading you. It's like, you are? Congratulations. It's like, what? It's like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, you won. It's yours now. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, well, we didn't know we were at war. We're at war, yeah. We didn't know that. I guess you could just have it. I mean, what am I gonna do? I got 100 people here, bro. Like, like, they didn't even have enough gunpowder to like fight back. Like, what the hell are they gonna do? It's like, bro, we don't. They really went over to him like, hey, can we borrow some gunpowder for? Sorry, I remember about that one.
That is, synchronized movements practiced as a group are a standard part of any military force and a show of discipline. If a soldier breaks formation, there can be big consequences. But what if something unexpected happens mid-drill?
Nah, son. Nah, son. He went for both. The dog said, "Now let me get both sides. I gotta make it even." Nah.
He did a good job of keeping a straight face.
I would not
You
have.
just know that guy's
Nah.
friends tore him to shreds the second the trial was over.
Intimidation, humiliation.
Nah, son, but like, you know he has to, though. If he doesn't, it's gonna be worse. It's gonna be worse if he doesn't keep a straight face.
Everybody has to deal with neighbors from hell at some point in their lives. But for Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, he had more to worry about than a messy dog. He was worried about a US-led invasion. In response to the perceived threat, back in 2019, the Maduro-led government decided to intimidate the Americans. How? By releasing a video of their army engaging in so-called intense training activities. The results were, well, take a look.
¡Soldado en acción!
Okay. Well, intense training was little more than running around and screaming like madmen. Though at one point they did show off their ability to run over a log too, while screaming of course. Incredible. It really makes you think, if this is their attempt at a show
Bro, it really feels like a B-movie. Stop.
of force, how would they perform if it actually came to getting down and dirty? Let's hope we never find out.
Ah! Can you imagine? I just want to see these dudes in the middle of an operation, just stealth mission, and just like a security guard just like, all right, make sure you keep an eye on the west side of the village to make sure that no soldiers come in. All right, cool, I got it. You're just out there, you're chilling, you're just watching, working for the cartel. You're like, nothing's gonna bring it. What the frick's gonna happen? And they just, what the frick? It's just running at you from like a mile away. You're like, what the? What is that? What is that? I don't. Is that something? What? You see him over the freaking hill. You're just like, who the hell is that? Oh my god! And it's just this dude in blackface running at you. Nah, son, I can't. Stop.
You know me, I'm all about spreading the truth. And that's why I don't think I'd ever get along with North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un.
What?
Known for both his
He's amazing,
fine
I don't
haircut
believe you.
and exerting tight
Yes.
control over the secret of state's information and media, Kim has never stopped short of going that extra mile to
One last thing before I go. Venezuela is a dictatorship. It's a shame. Millions of Venezuelans have fled their country into Brazil. Maduro has even threatened to invade Brazil to take over? Really? Damn.
try to
Hey, bro, it's like when you're making threats like that, no wonder Maduro is like constantly watching his own back. Like, come on, bruh. Why you
bolster
gotta
his
make more
nation's
enemies?
image. Unfortunately for North Korea, it often ends in
Isn't it weird that all dictators are incredibly paranoid about getting invaded?
utter failure. Like that time back in 2013 when they tried
I
to
wonder
make their
why.
military fleet look bigger by copying and pasting it. Except whoever did the shoddy job made it pretty obvious. Oh dear. Not that it's the only instance. Notice anything strange about this photo? From left to right, it shows
To be fair, though, hey, like I'm making a joke of it, right? But to be fair, I feel like based on this one video, I feel like if he does decide to invade Brazil, you'll hear him before you see him. You'll hear the enemy long before you see them. Trust me, you'll be fine. You're good. Just sit up.
an American soldier, a North Korean
If he's training all his soldiers to scream like that, you're gonna be it's
soldier
cool.
and
I
a
think you
South
guys
Korean
stand a really
soldier,
good chance
meeting
against
at the
them.
demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. As a show of strength, all three countries tend to send their most intimidating-looking soldiers for these meetings. Except wait,
Where's the enemy? I think they're that way. How can you tell? Ah! Yeah, okay. Yeah, here they come.
height of a North Korean man is 5'7", the same as a South Korean, and 2 inches shorter than an American. So how come the North Korean is towering over them both? Well, he's not. Not in
Tell
real
me-
life, anyway. The
Well, for starters, I mean, just look at it. Like, tell me why his head is literally like 3 times larger than the guy on the left or the right. Like, nobody's gonna mention the fact that he's like 3 times fatter. Like, his bone structure is like not even. No, nobody's gonna talk about that. This is obviously propped up. Like, this is such a fake image.
image has been doctored again. This is the actual photo.
No.
That's embarrassing, to say the least. Yep, no matter what the North Korean media might put out, they can't control our media, which is how images like this end up getting out in the open. Well, hey, it could have been worse. At least that underwear looks clean.
Fair's fair, actually.
Don't
Yeah, no
be a
brown spots,
plank.
no streak marks. Okay.
It's better to try and fail than to
Not a single
try
skid
at
mark,
all.
alright.
But sometimes trying and failing can definitely make you a laughingstock, like during the siege of Marawi. In 2017, after a years-long political struggle between the Philippine government and local extremist insurgents, heated clashes broke out in and around Marawi. So in response to the violence, the Philippine military decided to armor their vehicles with wooden planks. No, I'm not joking. Now, being fair, a few
I don't care. I don't care who you are. That's technically more armor. I don't care. Like, that technically works. You can joke all you want about it, but like like if you got nothing else, you don't got that reactive whatever the frick barrier that America's got on their tanks that freaking like bounces back the explosion at whoever, like, you know, the reflective explosion thing. Like, if you don't got that, might as well. What you freak? Like, come on.
Lots of good thick wood might help against smaller, more conventional weapons, but the Philippine military was fighting against insurgents armed with RPG-2s, and
Fair.
that's a different kettle of fish entirely. The RPG-2
Fair.
fires a rocket-propelled grenade that can penetrate a jaw-dropping 7 inches of steel. In other words, it could go through that wooden armor like a knife through butter. Needless to say, the wood wasn't a very successful endeavor, but Philippine
So what you're saying is, we should put double the wood.
government aren't the only ones to have tried this. In March 2022, desperate Russian forces in Ukraine were strapping logs to their vehicles in the hope it'd give them a better chance of surviving ambushes. Sure, it could help a little bit, but wouldn't it also make them more vulnerable to fire?
Yes, well, unless they're like, unless it's like, first of all, there's 2 ways to get around that. One is to char the wood to begin with, like burn it before you actually put it up there, like char it, so that it's already like burnt and it's gonna be more resistant, and it might even make it more durable, more like stronger. Or just make sure it's incredibly moist. Make sure it's wet. As long as it has moisture in it, it shouldn't catch fire too easily. They could also do pikery, depending on like where they're living. I guess it really depends, right? The temperature, but like pikery is also a thing that they were gonna use in World War II. Yeah, pikery. Pikery is basically just like a piece of wood that you basically dunk into water and then freeze it, and basically it creates a very strong practically bullet resistant material. That's actually really freaking awesome. We even debated making boats out of it, but it didn't really like work out quite because there was just no way to make like a like it's basically frozen wood. Like what the frick? Like how can you make a ship that's going to like not freaking eventually melt basically? But they did debate like using it for armor basically. Too many tabs.
All I know is I wouldn't feel particularly safe rolling around in a truck that looks like it's straight out of a terrible Mad Max ripoff. Silly soldiers. Not all military fails are wrapped up in doom and gloom, though. Some could even be considered wins. That is, if you're not the commander in charge. I mean, check out these guys playing a game of mortar baseball. See, usually you'd pop an explosive mortar into this thing and use it as a weapon, but not these guys. They decided to get creative and use it to fire baseballs instead. To be honest, I suspect this would have been more likely to destroy the baseball, but at least they were having fun. Because in their spare time, soldiers do have fun. You ever broken or misused something at work because of, shenanigans? Well, they have too. As fearsome as this tricycle-powered pelt gun looks, I have a feeling their commanding officer didn't approve of it. And then you have these boys.
Like, at least put it on a motorcycle.
I sincerely hope he knew there was a shovel in there. At least it's not as dangerous as pointing a fully functioning launcher the wrong way, which I assure you
that's
some
a fake
soldiers
image.
Definitely have. But if I showed you that footage, I'd be demonetized. The point is, servicemen and women are people too, so they joke around and they fail sometimes. Not to mention some pretty ironic faux pas. Oh dear. I somehow doubt that United Nations peacekeeper realized he was standing in such a terrible position. But even so, it's thanks to the countless hours of hard work they put in that we get to sleep well at night, even if they don't. It certainly seems like one soldier attending this military parade didn't anyway. It's important to remember that whatever side of the coin a soldier is on, they're still a human being with family and friends just like you and me. Yeah, I definitely have friends. Moving on. Looking fly. I don't take enough photos, something I'm trying to get better at. But there is a right time and a very wrong time. Back in 2010, 2 American pilots took a couple of MH-60R helicopters out to Lake Tahoe for a training exercise. Initially, everything seemed to be going as planned, but suddenly observers down below saw both choppers fly down to the point they were barely above the surface of the lake. Then, after a brief moment, they both seemed to lose control completely and smack into the water. Somehow they didn't go under, and the pilots were able to bring the crafts back up into the air.
Oh, I was gonna say.
It was obvious something had gone badly.
I was gonna say, isn't it like at a certain point, if you fly too low, like the propellers will, like they'll actually start to like basically like push water into themselves, right? Like, because of course the propellers are pushing air downwards, right? They're not like pushing it up, like no doubt. They're pushing air downwards. And that would effectively like push mist up into the air, but effectively once it gets high enough, it would vacuum into the top of the thing. Isn't that like how that works basically? And that's why it's like super dangerous.
So what the heck happened? An engine hiccup? A simple mistake? Nope. Unbelievably, both pilots had defied protocol and flown down low by the lake before taking their hands off the chopper's controls to take photos of each other for their squad's Facebook page. I wish I was joking. Unsurprisingly, they lost control of the vehicle while taking the snaps and, well, despite narrowly avoiding disaster and escaping with their lives, they caused over $500,000 worth of damage when they hit the water. Because of this, they were severely reprimanded and promptly stripped of their flying statuses. And a Navy pilot that can't fly? Yeah, that sounds pretty career-ending to me. Waves of discontent. No matter which country you live in, you're gonna disagree with at least some of your leaders' decisions. But if you lived in ancient Rome between AD 37 and AD 41, there's a good chance you disagree with most of them. That's because...
Yeah, but I'm sure they took that swimmingly. They've always been arbiters of free speech.
Emperor Caligula ruled in those years, and he made some pretty erratic choices. Like, declaring war on Neptune, god of the sea.
Good.
What? Yeah.
That dude's had it too good for too long. He deserves to be put in his place at least once in a while.
One day back in 40 AD, Caligula gathered his army, ballista and all, on the shores of northern France. Then he commanded them to attack the ocean. So they did, slashing swords, launching boulders, and throwing spears into the waves. This went on for who knows how long, until after finally declaring victory over the god, Caligula forced his soldiers to collect seashells in their helmets as so-called trophies. Okay,
Perfect.
sure, that's a pretty big fail in terms of actually winning a military victory, but why the heck did it happen? Well, we're not entirely sure. Was it
Bro found mushrooms and never looked back.
just an act of raving madness by the eccentric emperor? Maybe, but some people think otherwise. See, we know Caligula had massed his forces on the shores of northern France in the hopes of crossing to Britain and securing a military victory there. We also know that said attack never happened. Roman legionnaires had also mutinied in the past against his more experienced father. So piecing this all together, what if Caligula's army had refused to sail to Britain with the relatively inexperienced Caligula, and in response he'd punished them by making them fight a non-existent force? It's definitely an imaginative way to humiliate an entire army, but we don't know how many of the stories surrounding Caligula are even true. He probably wasn't very nice, this we're fairly confident on. However, some scholars believe his cruelty and eccentricity might have been embellished significantly by later Roman thinkers looking to discredit him.
I could easily see that, I could easily see him, Caligula, basically getting pissed off at the army and saying it's I should do that. I should send them to go fight Neptune on the beaches or whatever, or even doing it and making it a direct order as a sort of a way to make fun at them or to embarrass them. Maybe not actually intending for them to go and actually do it, but definitely as a way of showing discontent with that particular army or that particular squad, whatever the frick you want to call it. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. And then other people taking that and sort of rolling with it, making the story more clickbaity. You know, those Romans, they like to clickbait you a lot. They were super like that, you know. So maybe that's what it was, just a clickbait title, you know.
Below. Nothing but
Damn
hot
Romans and
air.
the clickbait.
If you're unconvinced that emus, Roman gods, or geese are enemies formidable enough for human beings,
I'm
what
convinced.
about the night sky? Yeah, the sky. One eventful night in 1942, only 3 months after the USA's entry into World War II, air sirens suddenly began blasting over Los Angeles. Several hours of heavy anti-aircraft artillery followed, with civilians forced to hunker down inside their homes, terrified. The only
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, there was there was nothing there. We were never getting attacked.
thing was, nobody actually saw an enemy aircraft, and only a few hours later the whole thing was declared a false alarm. Yep, an investigation later pinned the entire event down to some stray weather balloons coupled with war nerves and inexperienced soldiers. So LA wasted thousands of US munitions firing at what essentially turned out to be a load of old nothing. However,
No. They shot at a balloon. They shot at a balloon. Okay, let's be very clear. And then people say that Californians don't like force multipliers.
that also launched a host of allegations
we were firing
claiming
them off into the
cover-up.
air
Indeed,
for no
many
reason
believe
long
LA
before
was
Texas
actually
did it.
visited by UFOs that night. No hard evidence has ever been presented to substantiate this, but you've got to admit the whole thing is kinda sus. What do you think? Do you buy the weather balloon story, or could there be something more to it? Let me know down in
Brother,
those
we're panicking about freaking weather balloons and drones today. Yes, I totally believe it. Of course I do.
comments. Crossing the line. Ah, the Brits. We love them, but old habits die hard, and sometimes they just end up invading
Like stealing
somewhere.
artifacts.
Like back in 2002. And here's the kicker. It was an accident.
Huh?
24 Royal Marines were out on a training exercise near Gibraltar, part of the UK's overseas territories. One part of that exercise was storming a beach. Only extremely bad weather had made seeing and navigating very difficult. And bordering Gibraltar on its north side is Spain. Can you see where this is going? In the confusion caused by the stormy weather, the
Oh.
Marines accidentally crossed into Spanish waters, and one boat even landed on a Spanish beach. The Marines disembarked and were preparing to start training when it became apparent something was very wrong. There was a resort full of people in front of them. Not only had they got off at the wrong place, they had done so in front of a load of confused vacationers. After being informed of their mistake and told that, unlike the Spanish resort, Gibraltar has a huge 1,400-foot rock landmark, they made a hasty, embarrassed retreat. Crikey! Luckily for them, Spanish officials accepted their profuse apologies for the unannounced invasion, and UK-Spanish relations continued as normal.
My
Unluckily
bad.
for them,
I invaded you.
I'm not ever gonna let them
Oopsies.
live it down. GP espionage. Usually, if a state wants to uncover the locations of an enemy state's military bases, they'll have to employ their intelligence services for some good old-fashioned espionage. But back in 2017, any old Tom, Dick, or Harry could pick up their smartphone and pinpoint the exact location of several top-secret U.S. military outposts. How? One word. Strava. See, the popular fitness app allows its users to track their running routes and record their times, which can then be uploaded to the app's servers and shared with others. Well, Strava decided it'd be a fun idea to create a visualization using everybody's GPS data to chart the most popular routes. So they created and published a heat map using over 3 trillion GPS points all around the world. Pretty cool, right? Only in doing so, they completely compromised U.S. national security. Think about it. It's not just civilians using Strava.
It's all the freaking soldiers running every single freaking day.
Military personnel use it too. And soldiers stationed at their bases aren't going to run very far from them. In fact, they'll probably run around them. Over time, all these soldiers going on regular runs around the perimeter of their bases added up to create one undeniable image on the Strava GPS map. Something that was most obvious in places like Afghanistan and Syria, where Strava users were almost exclusively foreign military personnel, meaning bases
They literally gave a perfect blueprint of the entire military base.
stood out like a sore thumb. In one instance, you could even see the interior. To be clear, these are secret buildings that don't appear on services like Google Maps, yet there they were in plain sight. Safe to say, the U.S. government was not happy. In response, they banned all active military personnel from using tracking functions on their phones unless specifically authorized. But
I
let's
can
be honest
imagine
here,
they
the
must have
damage
changed
was
that rule
already
very
done.
quickly.
Imagine going for a morning jog and accidentally giving away some of your nation's best kept secrets. That's it. I'm quitting my exercise plan and grabbing some donuts.
People don't realize just how much data your phone actually has on you, bro. It's freaking wild. Like, it's the tiniest things you don't even think
Jeez,
about.
all these military
It
fails
really
have made me
is.
a little terrified. But before I go, can you think of any major fails I missed? Let me know down below, and they might be featured in a future video. Thanks for watching.
Lovely video, my dude. I actually do love Be Amazed. I follow him on my personal channel. Great content. Lovely content to freaking take a nap to, especially like just like when you're going to sleep. Dude has a soothing voice. I love it. Thanks for hanging out. Like or dislike, comment, and subscribe, and become a Monodachi today! I live stream all day, Monday through Friday, so go say hi! That's all for now, Monos. Goodbye, and thanks for swinging by. Salut!